realized. I wasn't talking to you guys at all for a few seconds there. So yeah, as I said, I was, well, first off, we'll start with hello, party people. And then we'll go back to what I was talking about. I don't know why, but I'm in a very good mood. Part of the reason is probably because I've been watching other people get their noses out of joint over a comment I made on Twitter. Look, and I'm sure at least one or two of those people might actually be watching this. So I'm just going to point this out. Just because someone said their children are allowed to get up from the table in a family restaurant, and for the record, if you have very young children and you take them to a non-family restaurant, yeah, you're a dickhead. But if you have a family restaurant, the thought behind that is, hey, we want to welcome families. Sometimes, even the well-behaved children are allowed to get up from the table and move around a little bit. It's called stretching your fucking legs. It's also called exploring your world. When I was a kid, and I mean like 7 or 8, I would always, well, not always, but quite often, get up from a table in a restaurant. Generally not a particularly busy one, but I'd get up and I'd wander around a little bit. Look at the pictures on the walls, maybe, wander down to the other end of the room, what have you. And it wasn't a big deal. I've worked as a server in family restaurants. I know. This face, bringing you food and smiling and saying, I hope you enjoy your meal. Yeah, this face. Actually, I think that was before, well, it was definitely before I lost the tooth. Was not before the piercings, and definitely was not before the shaved head. Yeah. But, I mean, it's a family restaurant. You're going to have kids running around a little bit. And that's fine. That's what children are supposed to do. That's why children are joyous. Yeah. And if you're a bad parent who spends all their time with their nose buried in their phone, ignoring what your children are doing, yeah. No, that's bad parenting. If you're the sort of person who thinks that your kid should absolutely stay exactly where you tell them to every single second, that's bad parenting too. It's disciplinary, by all means, but it's a little bit much. Anyway, let's pop into the browser here. And, before I get too far, do go over to Ko-Fi. Throw me a bit of money. What the hell's on my shirt? I just pulled this out of the laundry. It's undissolved detergent. Lovely. Anyway, if you want to support me, you can go to the link in the ticker, go to the description, or the pinned comment in the chat. Merch is going to be fourth wall. It's just a matter of getting a few things sorted out on the back end now. I was hoping by the end of last week. I'm still hopeful for the end of this week. We'll say by the end of the month. Let's do that. What else have I got going on? I was on with Yiz on Discord and Dragons last night. Had a great time with Aiden Paladin, Raging Mandrill, and 3 of 12. As I usually do, I enjoy very much being on there. Generally, I end up feeling like the idiot in the room, which is wonderful. It's good to have your intellectual status questioned at times. What else? Oh, and of course, thanks to my supporters, Simon JJ and Sadie Sapientia. And the Orangutan Gang, of course. I can't do this without you guys, for sure. Anyway, let's move on through the Six Semper Mentalis section of the show. Thus always to dickheads. Yeah. So today's first dickhead, or set of dickheads, is courtesy of David Kate. And is my internet crashing out again? Okay, we just had to pause that. Or rather, trigger it and then pause it. So it's official. The leftist agitators are, let me get the desktop audio up, paid and got caught, packing up all their equipment after clocking out of their designated protest time. David Kate got the entire thing on video, and they are furious. It's communist dollars. Yeah, it's commie bucks. Just watch this. This is fucking enlightening.
Wondered how protests happen on the spot. This is exactly how. Without organizers, without the music, without the bullhorns, without all of these people coming together. And right now what they're doing is they're loading their trucks to leave out of here after they finish with the protest. None of the protests that you see that happen immediately after something happens, which is all the time now, wouldn't be possible.
What's behind? Socialism is the future. Well, thanks for the heads
Me
up
is a
there,
combination of Party for Socialism and Liberation. We have Democrat Socialists of America here as well, and a couple very loose communist organizations like Revolutionary.
What does that say? Another year of
Communists for America.
crisis begins?
None
Who's causing the crisis, dickhead?
of the protests that you see are organic. They're well organized, and because they're well organized, that means they're well funded.
One thing I will say, at least they've stopped putting out pallets of fucking bricks. Not that anybody was intentionally doing that, of course.
Through various campaigns, whether it's foreign influence campaigns or it could be even Democrat campaigns. So this is how it all happens. If you've ever wondered how protests...
Yeah, this is something else. Sorry, I have a split in my lip, so... My big-ass N-word lips. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't say that. I should say Nick. Yeah, I know. So this is U.S. taxpayers, Minnesota, California. Oh, yeah, California's getting pretty friggin' crazy, too. There's an awful lot of fraud being discovered out there related to the home health care stuff. Okay, apparently I had this up twice. My apologies. So, from Officer Lou, just in, Olympic sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson was busted for blasting over 100 miles per hour in a 65 zone. Clocked at 104 in her Aston Martin, which is a nice car, and I would drive it fast. Though I think I'd not do tailgating and lane weaving or flashing lights at other drivers. That seems like a dickhead move. Her boyfriend, fellow track star Christian Coleman, rolls up in a black Jeep, refuses to comply with officers, gets arrested for resisting without violence. Deputies find a glass smoking device with cannabis residue in his vehicle. Straight to drug paraphernalia charges. Does it say what state this happened in? It does not. At least not so far. No special treatment for celebrities or athletes. Reckless speeding endangers... Oh, it's Florida. Endangers lives on our roads, and ignoring cops just compounds it. Florida's super speeder law is doing its job. Hold everyone accountable. No excuses. Law and order matters. So we'll pop this video as well. And just watch this lovely interaction.
I would wipe that smile off your face. I'm Sergeant McDaniels with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You're being stopped for dangerous, excessive speeding.
I understand my tire at the back is like literally on 29.
So you're driving at 100... Hold on. You're driving at 104 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone with subpar equipment, flashing people to get out of your life.
You can tell that she is simply waiting to respond to what the officer is saying. She's not actually listening.
Out of your lane. Following too close, using every lane to pass everybody, cutting me off, passing a car on the inside shoulder with their hazard...
You cut off a fucking cop. You fucking dickhead.
...lights on. You're going to jail for dangerous excessive speeding.
I'm so sorry. I did not
going to jail.
My phone, I didn't even know my car was speeding.
That's why they give you a speedometer.
I totally understand.
Maybe put your phone somewhere where it isn't going to be constantly moving when
Most
you're trying
people
to drive
don't,
to.
but you got to think about that before you do the speed. I need your license, your registration, and your insurance. You were speeding.
So I was, and I totally didn't know. If you look at my phone, my buttons right here, they jump around. My phone is sitting here, and it's slid on here. I literally see it's not even in normal mode, and I see that. My apologies, please.
Okay, so it sounds like she's trying to blame her phone somehow. Bitch, put your phone in the fucking compartments. If you're using it, use it wirelessly. Get one of those stick-on holders for it. I had one in my last car. Like, Jesus, it's not hard to make it possible to drive without your phone constantly distracting you.
The mode has nothing to do with your gas pedal.
No,
I need your license.
I like what that cop just said. The phone has nothing to do with the gas pedal. That's a good point. In fact, if, for example, if my phone were to fall off the holder that I had it attached to, I wouldn't step on the gas pedal. I'd be lifting my foot.
Your registration and your insurance.
I really want to work. Can you really work with me, sir? I promise you, I am a law-abiding citizen. I have my...
She can't even find her fucking license. What the hell are you doing? Took you long enough.
Is this a good address for you, Lake Valley Drive?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm local, sir. Please work with me. I promise you.
I don't know what work with you means.
Not work with me. I understand that I was...
Stop attempting to control the situation, you dumb broad. you're busted. Listen to what the cop has to say. If you think he's wrong, argue it in court. Otherwise, take the consequences of your actions.
No, like I told you, you're going to jail.
She's even smiling in her mugshot, for fuck's sakes.
Allow me to go to, please, sir, please.
Listen to me.
Please, sir, I really...
If nothing you say is going to change that. You are going to jail.
Sir, am I going to jail, Jake?
Yes.
Sir, I really was not meant to intentionally...
Oh, that's the super speeders thing. If you're above, I guess, a certain amount above the speed to the point where you're considered to be super speeding, and let's see, at 104, you're almost 40 miles an hour over. That's close to, it's around 60 kilometers over. So if, for the Canadians, if you're in a 100 zone, you would have to be doing 160. Whew. Jesus, lady. Or 165.
That's even more scary. That means that you're doing things unintentionally on a task that requires all your attention.
Yeah, stop trying to make excuses. You're just going to dig yourself into a hole. That's another big point. If you're confronted by the cops, those guys that you see, the pot-smoking lawyer guys, when they say shut the fuck up, they're not wrong. Just shut the fuck up, listen to what the cop has to say. Don't try to defend yourself on the spot. Fight it in court if you think the cop was wrong. I'll give you a tip. A lot of times, when I've, actually not a lot of times, only once have I ever been pulled over for speeding. And that was totally my fault. But, yeah, the cop, I didn't have to ask him to work with me. I told him the truth. I admitted that I was at fault. And the cop went, okay, I'm going to give you a bit of a break. I still got a speeding ticket, but it was nowhere near as high as it could have been. And that was the police officer's discretion, which I absolutely appreciated. So, yeah, you shut the fuck up, listen, because that's an authority figure. Yeah, they're not actually all bad people.
Please, I'm begging you.
You are going to have a little bit of time to make some phone calls. You are going to jail. I am towing your car.
Please, sir.
You're getting your ass done towed.
No.
I will do everything.
You have two options.
Listen. Sir, please.
Listen, you have two options.
Please, sir.
The first option is you can either ride with me in my car.
Damn, that's loud.
The second option is you are going to go to jail in a cage car. Which do you prefer?
I promise you, I don't want to go to jail. I'm right here. I have a team here. I have a coach, everything, sir. I was not intentionally doing anything, and I am.
You're not listening. You're repeating yourself and not listening. Nothing you say.
Yeah. Okay. That's just going to be more of the same. I'm curious about the boyfriend, actually. Let's see. There we are. We'll copy and do a quick search. See if that works out. It's not resisting arrest if the cops can't even catch you. Yeah. Okay, no, that's not. It's not getting us anywhere. We'll pause this one because this one is fucking hilarious. This is the last of the 6 Mentalist today. So this is, let me read it for you. Michigan police use grappling hooks, and this happens. It's not actually a grappling hook. And that misconception is part of the reason why you see this white vehicle doing what it does later on in the video. What it is, it's called the grappler. And it's essentially a bolo, if you know what or bola rather, if you know what the South American gauchos use as that weapon that you spin it over your head and it's got weighted balls on the ends. You throw it and it tangles things. That's more of a good analogy rather than a grappling hook. So just watch this. This is entertaining as balls. So the grappler is deployed from the front, and it hooks around the wheel and essentially immobilize. Well, it doesn't immobilize the car, but it tethers it. What this guy is obviously trying to do is to back up, which you'll see him do again, thinking that it's some sort of hook that he can kind of back up and drive off of. You can't. It's basically attached to your vehicle until it's removed properly. Good job! Rip the fucking axle right off her. Absolutely deserved behavior from a dickhead. Now, I will point out, that's a front-wheel drive car, so if he had slammed on the accelerator at that point, the vehicle would move. Not much, but it would move. Yeah. Okay. So I did post that I was going to break down why this is actually a bad idea yesterday. Got this off of Telegram. Crazy Brazilian says, I'm being told, or posts from whoever this actual original poster is, I'm being told that my bedside spear is, quote, not normal. It's not, and I will explain why, but Lammy Lynn says, the man who sleeps with a spear beside his bed is a fool every night but one. No. No, he's always a fool. Couple of reasons. One, that does look like, just 1 second, I believe that is a cold steel spear. See if I'm right here. No, it's not that one. That's a boar spear. Okay, it's not cold. Maybe it's not a cold steel. In any event, that particular style of spear is generally about 6 to 8 feet long, end to end. The biggest issue you're going to have with that is how clumsy it is to use indoors. Even if it's only, let's say, a 3-foot shaft on it, that's still a 4-foot weapon in a hallway that might only be 5 feet across. Assuming you're in a hallway, even if you're in your bedroom. Yeah. Also, I don't know how you're going to bring that to bear on someone who's broken into your house, especially if they happen to have a weapon of their own, and even the slightest idea how a parry works. All in all, this is an absolutely bad idea. You could have any number of better choices next to your bed. Obviously, ideally a firearm, though I'm in Canada and even I can't have that. Let me think. What would be a good choice? Oh, I mean, a small-ish knife, something you can deploy in a hurry, or a straight blade. Something like the end of that spear, if you cut it off about... can you see my cursor? You can't. Let me see if you see it this way. Yes, okay. If you cut that spear off about, say, there, so you've got essentially a long fixed blade knife, that's a far better choice than a spear in an enclosed environment like indoors. What else have we got? Yeah. Yeah, it's an idea, and I mean, definitely better than absolutely nothing. No, actually, I'm going to say it's not better than nothing, because if you had nothing, then nothing could foul your movement. For example, if you're attempting to pursue someone out of your bedroom, once you're in a hallway, you are screwed. I had a crackhead attempt to attack me with a baseball bat in the hallway once, and I just laughed in his face. Where are you going to get the power in your swing? Can't get it from overhead. The ceiling's too low. Right? If you're holding a 3-foot bat and you stand 5'9", you're already completely crippling your ability to do an overhead strike. You're going to swing it side on? Good luck. You're going to stick it in the drywall before you're going to hit me with it. Yeah. I mean, I literally walked into the guy and took the baseball bat away from him and shoved him away from me. It's not a good idea to have any sort of a long weapon that doesn't fire some sort of projectile. You can have an 8-foot long fucking crossbow if you want. It's not really going to be a great effective thing because, you know, it's just unwieldy in a small enclosed space. And, you know, if you're concerned that you might have to do something like that, like fight in the hallway, learn to fight close quarters. Judo, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai is not a bad choice either if you're in close. Grappling, so wrestling. Boxing is not a bad choice for in a hallway. Generally in a hallway, you're only really worried about what's directly in front of you. So being able to throw a fast jab and a good combination isn't a bad idea either. Okay, so let's move on to the response portion of today's show. Oops, that was wrong. My apologies, I hit a wrong button. And we'll throw that up there. Now, I do apologize. Some of these are you friggin' kidding me? There we go. Okay, so from Right Angle News Network. As I was saying, I do apologize. Some of these are a bit older than they should be. This one, I don't think, is all that old. Breaking. Shocking video out of Portland, Oregon. Go figure, it was freaking Portland. Shows teachers at the Portland Montessori School, which I believe is like a private school, contracting school, charter school maybe. Somebody who's American in the comments, please let me know. Leading children, some no older than 5 or 6, in an anti-ICE protest, sparking mass calls to remove any licenses the school may have. The teachers look exactly how you think they will. Pause this, bring this up. So for the teachers, we have Kane Gibbard, Bumblebee, whatever the hell that means. That's a man. Well, sorry, that's male. Gina Wermeyer, AMI Primary Guide Swifts. I'm guessing these are some sort of term for within the institution itself. Andy Letourneau, Haley Fitzsimmons, Braden Pemberton, that's the Director of Admissions, Charlie Johansson, Dragonfly. Dragonfly and Bumblebee, that's disturbing. Our local Portland Montessori participating in the ICE shutdown. Yeah, we're going to have other stuff involving kids and the protests, and yeah, it's beyond infuriating. This is sickening. Why are you teaching these kids to do this kind of shit? Let me scroll around a bit, find the other story relating to the protests. Oh, yeah, this one. No, actually not this one. Where are we? No. This one. Yes. Speaking of leftist idiot protesters putting their children in harm's way, I have no sympathy for this person. I want to make that very clear. A pregnant anti-ICE rioter cries after getting hit in the stomach with a rubber bullet. Who the fuck riots while they're pregnant? Yeah, you can stand on the sidelines and say, down with ICE all you want. Once you go past that point, you stop being a peaceful protester. And if you're at the point where you're getting shot at with rubber bullets, yeah, you're kind of taking your kid's life in your hands. But, you know, nobody likes a martyr more than the lefties. ICE agents hit a pregnant woman in the stomach with a rubber bullet. I'll give you a potential warning. I haven't listened to this whole video. I expect shrieking. Oh, look, she lost her anchor baby. Yeah, no, I know I'm being absolutely cruel and completely unsympathetic, and I have none left. Sorry, the sympathy is gone. Oh, this should have been in the Sic Semper Mentalis pile. We'll get that one covered now. I think this is also part of the ICE thing as well, though. Pause this. Follow button. This is from Danny, Beyonce Garden. No idea who that is. But this person strikes me as absolutely stable.
You, sir.
Okay, let me see your driver's license.
I have a mental health issue, sir.
Right at that point, that guy goes in cuffs for me.
And you're gonna make it a lot worse.
Wow. Sanpoku, anybody? I think that's how it's pronounced. Maybe it's Sampoku. Aiden could tell me, and I keep forgetting to ask her whenever I'm talking to her.
I swear to God.
Are you attempting to intimidate a cop? From a seated position? You dumb fuck?
Oh my God, really? Are you gonna do this?
Get out of the car.
Yeah, because he asked for your license, and you responded by threatening him. Implied threat, but still a threat.
My license right here.
Then why didn't you reach for it when you were asked for it the first time, dickhead?
Let me see it.
Okay. You just don't care about humans. That's the problem with you.
I'm not the one that was out kicking
You
cars
don't
in
care
the-
about me, sir.
Tell him the truth, officer. Yeah, no, you mean nothing to me. You're an inconvenience in the run of my workday. I shouldn't have to be dealing with you.
Honked at me 5 times.
Oh no. Somebody pushed their horn and honked at you 5 times because you were sitting your dumb ass at a fucking green light.
Okay.
Because he's, guess what? In his nice pickup truck, and he's just annoyed that I didn't go right away. There was no reason he needed to honk, and I'm...
Okay. If you can't handle a fucking car horn honking at you when you fucked up and didn't get off the line, yeah, maybe the guy was being impatient. Maybe he was patient and you took your slow ass time because you were doing this. Who knows? All I know is this. If you can't handle the sound of a car horn behind you going bump, 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 get off the fucking road. Surrender your fucking license. You are not stable enough to drive.
flipping out right now, trying to just get home.
Oh, and they're always just trying to get home or on their way to work. I actually agree with Donut Operator there. That's such a terrible excuse that they keep using.
That's all.
Okay.
I'm home now.
Oh, he's home now, so he's got the home base, I'm home free. No, not how it works.
And I'm gonna take my medicine that I just picked up.
If you need your medicine that badly, you probably should have taken it in the pharmacy parking lot when you got it.
Are you going to listen to me or not?
Yes.
You're lucky you didn't get shot today. You understand that Oklahoma...
Roll your eyes and completely ignore them. Dude, you're in the States, and really you shouldn't assume that just because you're not in the States, nobody has a gun. There's a lot of handguns in Canada. I'm relatively sure a lot of the road rage incidents, or a lot of the shootings that happen in Canada, when they involve a handgun, especially in the Toronto area, probably have something to do with a bit of road rage.
is a constitutional carry state. Yes.
Someone's gonna shoot me in Edmonton.
Have you not watched the...
This guy's just an idiot. Like, why are you... And again, as with that fucking Olympian, why are you arguing with the cop? Do what you're told. Fucking comply. Get the fuck out of there. If you have a problem, fight it in court. You're not going to change the cop's mind on the side of the road. Certainly not by arguing.
news? Have you not seen how many stabbings and shootings we've had lately?
Do you see how childish that guy is? Watch this. Watch this gesture he does.
Have you not watched the news? Have you not seen how many stabbings and shootings
Puts his
we've
hand
had
up,
lately?
zips it shut, and keys it off. Children. They're just fucking children. We need to reopen the asylums until they grow up.
So, explain to me where this all started.
I can't.
How come? So, I'm just having a hard time understanding
can't.
how,
Oh, good.
when somebody honks
Yeah.
at you, that you jump out of the
It's
car.
called explosive.
So he's got some sort of newfangled, potentially fictional, mental health issue that has something to do with explosive anger and impulse control. You shouldn't be driving.
Disorder. And I can't help it.
Okay, hang on. Explosive temper disorder. Intermittent explosive disorder is a mental health condition characterized by recurrent sudden episodes of impulsive, aggressive, or violent behavior that are disproportionately intense compared to the situation that triggered them. These outbursts, often described as explosions, can involve verbal aggression, yelling, threats, tirades, or physical aggression, destroying property, attacking people or animals, and typically last less than 30 minutes. The episodes occur with little or no warning and are not premeditated. That sounds like a great excuse for people to just beat the shit out of somebody else, doesn't it? Causes and risk factors. Biological factors. Low serotonin levels. Genetic predisposition. Well, that's racist. Genetic predisposition. Yeah. Environmental factors. History of childhood trauma, exposure to violence, family environments where explosive behavior is common. Comorbid conditions. IED frequently co-occurs with depression, anxiety, substance use disorder, and bipolar disorder. In other words, you're just fucking nuts. Yeah. So, intermittent explosive disorder. Gee, I wish they'd had that around when I was a kid with anger issues. Maybe this guy should do what I did. Get in karate.
Okay, should you be driving a car then if you can't?
Why do you think I'm here?
Okay. It's just a disorder that gives you the excuse to, basically disobey authority. And, looking at this guy's vehicle, it looks like he's beating on his car a little bit from time to time as well.
Trying to go inside!
Get out and put your hands behind your back.
No.
Yes.
No. You're not doing it.
Yeah, see, no, when the cop says, get out, put your hands behind your back, the next two words out of his mouth next three, rather, are going to be, you're under arrest.
Officer. Oh. Now, look at
Get out, put your hands behind your back.
Are you kidding me, sir? You can't do this.
I don't trust
Can't do this.
your behavior right now. Get out and put your hands behind.
inside.
No, you're not.
Help me! Help me! My roommate's here.
450. Can you start me another unit?
Look.
Put your hands. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
Did you see the way he got out of that vehicle so fast? Lucky he didn't get tased. At least.
Nothing on
Turn
me.
around. Put your hands behind your back.
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Yeah, now you're just
Put your
being
hands
mocked
behind
when
your
you
back.
get exactly what you deserve.
I'm not doing anything.
Get the hands.
You're resisting, you dumb fuck. Oh yeah, and as the original person who posted it said, oh, that's what it was. This was actually Artie had posted this originally. He pointed out that the guy was just making a call afterwards. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't ice related. That should have been in the Six Semper Mentalis section. Speaking of dickheads, let's talk about Billie Eilish. Dear God, she's an idiot. So from Colin Wright, you cannot simultaneously believe that 1, all borders are fake and should not be policed, and 2, that land can be stolen. This is one of the most brain-dead beliefs a person can hold. Yeah, just listen to this bit of idiocy.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
That was so stupid. I need a minute. I'm not kidding. I actually need a minute. No one is illegal assumes that there is a border. Stolen land, therefore no one can be illegal. I don't know where that logic comes from. Oh, yes. Fucking seals. God. Yeah, as I posted relating to this, actually, I think this should have my response in it. No, but we'll look through some of the memes. My response, which might come up, was today and goddamn good reasons not ever to pay attention to celebrities. I'll just pause this while we're skimming through. Do you have any history of mental illness? I have an uncle who thinks we live on stolen land, but borders are imaginary. Yep, it's a religious liturgy for the woke. Yeah, it's literally a holy chant for these people. Every slogan that they come up with. No one is illegal. Land back. All of these things. They're all magic words that they think will work. No one is illegal on stolen land. So you're giving our stolen lands back? No, it means anyone can come here. We don't want more people on our stolen lands. Shut the fuck up, racist. What the fuck? Yeah, basically. Communism kills. From Matt Walsh. Remember, folks, white South Africans don't belong in South Africa even after 400 years. White Americans are invaders in America even after 500 years. But the third world illegal migrant who got here last Tuesday is just as American as anyone else, and if you call him an invader, you're racist. Yep. Oh, I'm going to read this one. I'm going to attempt to do it in Ricky Gervais' voice. If you do win an award tonight, I totally fucked that up. Don't use it as a platform to make a political speech. You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in jail in school than Greta Thunberg. Accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off. Yeah, still one of the best speeches ever given on primetime television. Oh, yeah. Billie Eilish, by the way, has a walled-off mansion. Yeah. Believes no one is illegal on stolen land, has multiple restraining orders filed against individuals for trespassing, including 2020, 2021, and 2 in 2023. Yeah. Not stolen, conquered. Agreed. Let's see here. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here, but I'm going to read it. 24-hour armed home security, advanced surveillance, addresses blurred on Google Maps, restraining orders. No one is illegal on stolen land, says celebrities, yeah. This is just funny. This is, I think this might have been from Reefer Madness, but I'm not 100% sure. It's an anti-marijuana ad from back in the day, too good not to share. This isn't normal. Unless you're addicted to reefer cigarettes, then it happens all the time. I don't even own an English horn. Or is that a French horn? I think that might be a French horn. Regardless, yeah. Never been something I saw. So, to continue with the Americanisms, let's go see what DJT had to say about Canada this time. Okay, pause. Oh, yeah, this is him just being silly. From Mark Nixon, Donald Trump in a tux says if Canada cuts a deal with China, ice hockey is finished. It will be the first thing to go. That's not policy, that's mockery. Elbows up turned Canada into a joke. And I did respond, let's be real, Mark, Canada was a joke long before anyone said anything about elbows up. But we'll listen to this really quick. It's only 30 seconds.
And the Canada tariffs, sir, that you talked about, are those coming?
Well, that was on the airplanes. Are you talking about the
about the China deal that they did.
If they do a deal with China, yeah, we'll do something very substantial. Because we can look, I have a great relationship with China, President Xi, but we don't want China to take over Canada. And if they make the deal that he's looking...
Okay. Ignoring what he's about to say, pay attention to what he said beforehand. We don't want China to take over Canada. Everybody knows the Belt and fucking Road bullshit, or whatever the fuck they call it. That Belt and Road Initiative, or whatever it is, that is just soft Chinese takeover.
To make, China will take over Canada. And the first thing they're going to do, end ice hockey.
That's mostly because the Chinese are a soft and tiny people, and easily body checked. Okay, well that's just more twaddle after that. What's this one? Oh, speaking of China, yeah, let's talk about how 4 Chinese nationals were arrested recently. Excuse me. From Wiretap Media. Report, 4 Chinese foreign nationals arrested near London, Ontario's Western University with explosives. Search warrants were executed in Ottawa and Gatineau, it's a town in Quebec, and CSIS is alleged to be involved. CSIS is the Canadian Special Intelligence Service. The suspects are named Jerry Tong, Zikun Wang, Fei Frank Han, Fei Yang Astrid G. So that's a woman. As of January 31st, 2026, all suspects remain in custody. No bail decisions reported. The charges center on possession and firearms offenses, but notably absent are any terrorism-related accusations or indications of a specific plot. Then why would they have explosives? Elbows up, bitches. Yeah. Is this number 1 hunters, number 2 sport shooters, number 3 collectors, number 4 licensed, vetted, law-abiding citizens? No. CSIS was able to catch those 4 Chinese agitators, but did fuck all about these ones. Yeah, who are the other, who are the MPs? We have 4 names. We know there were 11 at least. Let's see if we can find one more good meme in here. Nope. Okay. What's this one? Oh, yeah. This is wonderful. So, Claude Comtois, the tinfoil hat guy. Let's see. We'll start with this one. So, pause this. Move this aside. Claude Comtois, aka tinfoil hat guy, has been arrested on Parliament Hill while carrying a Canadian flag because his pole was too long. You cannot make this shit up. Let's see what the cops have to say here. For the record, I think that's the Parliamentary Protection Service. these are the guys who basically take care of only the Parliament Hill area.
You are arresting a man. That's shame on you. You're arresting a man that's got a Canadian flag.
Yeah, we have rules.
You know what? You make your rules up as you go.
You can have flags, you just can't have...
What's
I will
wrong?
grant that's a very long pole, but it's also very flimsy. Also,
but
why
look,
the
he's
fuck did you
holding the
immediately put
flag.
that on the ground? That's a terrible way to treat the Canadian flag, you dick.
He wasn't near anybody. Look at you guys. Look what you guys are doing. You guys are arresting a man. You know why? No, you're making a big deal out of a Canadian flag. No, it is a big deal. Yes, it is. Because you guys make your... It's not dangerous. If you're... Look at this...
You can easily fall.
Yeah, but look at that man. Look how big the guy is. He's holding it. Do you think he's going to let... Yeah, you're arresting him. Shame on you. Shame on you. Arresting a man holding a Canadian flag. Shame. 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 Shame.
Oh, shut up with the shame thing, please.
Shame. Shame on you. Shame. Shame.
Okay, I may occasionally suggest that we should use some of the same tactics that the lefties do, but I don't mean all of them.
Shame.
Definitely
Shame!
not that one.
Shame! 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 Shame on you for arresting him like that with the Canadian flag. Y'all should be embarrassed. You guys call yourselves Canadians? You're all cowards. Look at it. Shame! 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 You're arresting a man for holding the Canadian flag. Why? Because you got policies. If they're allowed to have it out there, what's the difference between here and on Wellington Street? Huh? What's the difference? I want to know.
Okay, and we'll go back to this. Yeah, can't have the poll, but this is perfectly acceptable. Parliamentary Protection Service informs me that Khalistani demonstrators, this is from Dacey Media, Chris Dacey, are free to carry swords and daggers on Parliament Hill because of a religious exemption. You can call these weapons ceremonial, but they are also very dangerous. Yeah. And for the record, just for the record, these weapons are carried explicitly for self-defense, something I'm not allowed to do in this country. For example, I've always got a pocket knife on me. If I were to say that I was carrying this to defend myself with, which I don't, to make it very clear, first off, that's way too small, way too blunt, and way too hard to get deployed in a hurry to be of any use in a fight. But if I were to tell a police officer that I was carrying it to defend myself, I could be charged with premeditation, essentially. A premeditated crime. But it's perfectly acceptable for the Sikhs to carry theirs. And I will point out, that's not a pocket knife, that's a sword. That's not a pocket knife, that's a dagger. Now, granted, I have knives roughly the same size. I have a machete that is fairly close to the same length. And yes, I could legally carry them. But if I was asked why, and my response was, I'm carrying it in case I need to defend myself, and I will point this out freely, when I go in the woods, I take the machete as tool and potential defense weapon, because there are wild animals in the fucking woods. Yeah, and I'm not allowed to carry a handgun.
Yep. That would be the police. Casually carrying a sword onto Parliament Hill and a dagger.
Yep.
The first gentleman has a sword.
That's a tulwar, by the way.
The second one has a dagger.
And I believe that's... trying to remember what the Sikh term for their dagger is. Kirpan? Kirpan. And they can be any length. Now, I will point out that the sword that the other fellow is carrying is a tulwar pattern. Now, he can call it a kirpan and say it's a religious item of significance, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. The issue I have is that he is given greater freedom to carry a weapon to defend himself than I am. That's where I have the issue.
Are the weapons going to be allowed then, or?
Religious item, yeah.
Yeah, he won't even acknowledge that it's a weapon. It's being carried as a weapon. That's its intent. The Sikhs are a warrior religion.
So there's...
So that kind of actually brings up a good question. If, for example, as a religious choice, I chose to carry a weapon to defend myself, would I be given the same religious exemption?
An exemption, even for weapons? So the dagger and the sword's both okay on the Hill. So there you have it. Very clearly, different laws in Canada for different people. The weapons will be allowed on Parliament Hill.
Yep, two-tier policing. What else have we got here? Hey, don't Catholics also have a traditional ceremonial dress? They do, but unfortunately they're not recognized as religiously exempt for carrying defensive weapons. Yeah, enough is enough. They all have to go back. Swiss guards. Remember, Calistanis are deemed terrorists in most of the world. They celebrate blowing up a plane Canadians were on board of. They celebrate the murder of a government worker at their hands when he rejected their visa. Yet we let them bring weapons to Parliament. And Pierre uses them to win leadership reviews like a liberal cuck. Yeah, because it's the Uniparty. Let's see. Good news. Don't know that I can show that one. I may have to do a bit different with the recording. Let's see. Okay, we'll go to this one because this dovetails into the last story fairly well. Tim Uppel, who is a Sikh himself, is from The Buck You Will. Pause. Fucking busted. This is no conservative. He knows exactly what the fuck he voted for, and he knows that there is nothing conservatives will do about it. The CPC is not a real conservative party. I've been saying for quite a while. They're chinos. Also, hello, Sades, and yes, everyone here as well. Thank you. Hope you're doing well today. I assume you're probably cooking supper by this point. In any case, from Max Genest, breaking, this Conservative MP voted to allow non-citizens to vote in party nominations. And the question is asked, you personally voted to allow it. Why is that? And Tim Uppel responds, did I? I just voted to maintain the status quo. Yes, because the status quo serves your people, but is not conservative.
Mr. Uppel, do you believe that non-citizens should vote in your party's nomination races?
That's the way it is right now.
But you voted to allow it. Why?
I voted the entire room, actually.
So, no, but you personally voted to allow it. Why is that? Sorry?
Did I?
Yeah, you voted to allow...
I just voted to allow the status quo.
Uh-huh. At least you're smart enough not to have a duper's delight grin on your face. Speaking of conservative voting, because that's where he was at the Conservative Party convention, Canada seems to be doing as badly as the UK. Arguably worse, depending on what aspect we're looking at. Yeah. Speaking of which, though I do have something from the UK in a little bit that's... it's hard to argue that we're much worse. And you guys definitely take the cake in one specific aspect. So, from Mr. Sunshine Baby, breaking, an anti-gender ideology policy was just defeated at the Conservative Party of Canada annual general meeting. Members of the crowd can be heard cheering in favor of maintaining support for left-wing gender ideology. And there's nothing conservative about conservatives anymore, says June Marie. Gender ideology is okay, mass immigration's okay, abortion is okay, constant pay raises for themselves are okay, climate change is fine, pandering to First Nations with land acknowledgements and fake grave sites is perfectly acceptable, letting non-citizens vote in their membership's elections. Yeah, that's fine. It's not like they're voting in the election. And hate Trump and piss off our greatest allies. Okay. Yeah. From Tony L. Tarrant. We've been telling you for years, it's time to join and support the PPC. Yes. Here we are. Clarification update. A lot of people think the CPC just voted for woke ideology. That's not what happened. Nothing changed on medical gender interventions. The party's policy banning puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries for minors remains intact. The vote everyone is reacting to was about parental access to non-coercive talk therapy under the federal conversion therapy law. So in other words, it's the nanny state interfering between a parent and their child again. It was about whether parents and counselors should be protected when engaging in exploratory reversible counseling, not medical transition. That motion got 52% support but still failed because CPC rules, the Conservative Party of Canada, require a double majority across provinces. No woke policy was adopted, no medical pathways were approved, no ban was lifted. The split reflects tension between parental rights and political caution, not an endorsement of ideology. Facts matter. Yeah. So, Mr. Sunshine Baby isn't always the most reliable, but he is a good source for Canadian news.
We do not have a double majority achieved on this.
Okay, so I'm going to back up here. A161282. A161282. Motion at the Conservative AGM. See what it tells me. Ah, well, okay. That was a little bit too esoteric even for the search engine, I guess. Let's see. No, that's Mark Carney. We can leave that one alone. We'll do this one real quick, considering it's February. And Black History Month has only just started. Okay, we'll pause there. So, from Rational Posts, who I do suggest you guys follow if you're not for Canadian news, comments closed. Noticers notice why. They will never recognize it with the Toronto Police's most wanted list. We all know why. From the Toronto Police, February, and I'll pause this video again, February is Black History Month, and on Thursday we recognized this important month at headquarters by raising the Pan-African flag, no, I'm not fucking joking, and hosting a lively event with incredible food and entertainment culminating in the presentation of the Terry James Trailblazer Award posthumously to Constable Gloria Bartley. I'm not fucking kidding. These people literally just did the "but what about the food" meme. Yep, making dinner. Awesome. So we'll just watch this interesting little thing that happens here. So that's the Pan-African flag, or at least one of them. Let's try... Actually, I better ask Brave this question, because their AI seems to be at least a little less, or a little more neutral. Is the Pan-African flag controversial? And I'll just grab the link and bring it over here. Okay, close that. The Pan-African flag has been a subject of controversy primarily due to its strong associations with black nationalism, black liberation movements, and political activism, none of which really apply in Canada. While it is widely celebrated as a symbol of pride, unity, and heritage among people of African descent, some view it through a political lens that can be contentious. You think any of the people at that flag raising didn't view it through a political lens? You're fooling yourself. Created in 1920 by Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the flag was a direct response to the racist song, That's Not True. In 1971, the Newark, New Jersey School Board's decision to allow the flag in classrooms sparked fierce debate, including legal challenges and legislative efforts to ban ethnic flags in public schools. The only flag that should fly in the schoolrooms of a country is the flag of that country. Doesn't matter if it's a rainbow, it's a Pan-African flag. Yeah. They should be, well, okay, I'll make distinctions for, or exceptions for, regional flags. For example, if you're in Newfoundland, the provincial flag is fine. Even flying the Republican flag of Newfoundland in the classroom is questionable, because it's a political statement. Critics have sometimes mischaracterized the flag as a symbol of black supremacy, despite its primary purpose being Pan-African unity and empowerment, not exclusion. Yeah. Sure. Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? Oh, okay, I'll respond to this one since we kind of moved away from ICE a little bit, and I didn't mean to quite so quickly. From, which twit is this? James Tate. This is how the world sees us. Fat ICE officer saying fucking bitch to fat Statue of Liberty. No, that isn't how the world sees you. That's how you want the world to see you. Because you want to hate on people who actually, you know, maintain order and the rule of law. Funny fucking thing, that, huh? Earl of the South responds with, sorry, but the communism will stop. Yeah. Just to talk about this particular line that he uses here, this is how the world sees us. I, for one, don't have an issue with anybody from the U.S. on a general level. I mean, I'm sure there are individuals I might not particularly want to associate with. Gavin Newsom, for example. AOC. Sorry, got something in my throat. But, yeah, the idea that generally this is the impression that people have of your country, no. That may be the loudest voices, or the shrillest, but no. I, myself, I have great respect for the Americans. You guys have a great constitutional system. Not 100% sold on your political system. I mean, Canada's basically a two-party system, and it's not working for the people anymore. So something needs to be tweaked, I think. Let's see. There's good memes in here, so we'll go through this. Where does it say, bring me hostile, freeloading assholes waving their own flags? Helping the enemy used to be called treason. Now it's called being a Democrat. Let's see. Useful idiot. A naive or credulous person who can easily be manipulated to advance a cause or political agenda. You are the reason it's hard to get people to stop saying retard. Funny you should mention that, because I do have a clip related to that as well. Let's see. There we are. Not sure where I cribbed this one from. I believe it's Landor over in England there. So over in Sadie's neck of the woods. So from Retard Finder through Landor, yeah. While on a show called Free Speech Nation, Holly Valance, I believe she's Australian, says COVID was like a retard meter. She is instantly called out for using the word retard. We are free speech except for that word. It's not even a bad word. Get over it, retards. Yeah. I will also point out she's on a show called Free Speech.
Yeah, I never really guessed it because during COVID was the big tester to see how the retard meter.
COVID was absolutely a retard meter.
And
also, I will point out she's on a show on GB News.
Australia was quite high on that. And that was quite shocking.
Sorry for using that word, but that's okay. But yeah, it's okay. You use that word, yeah. I think some people, unfortunately, might be offended.
Hey, are we not in Free Speech Nation over here? Where
Free Speech Nation. You're right. You've got me there. You've got me there. With Free Speech Nation, apart from that one.
The name of the show is Free Speech Nation. We're free speech except for that one word. I have some better words that I could use that would really piss you off then. One of them starts with N. And the other one starts with fat. Yeah. Let me see here. From Chuck Dodson. Never let the left control the lexicon. The word retard is not meant for people with handicaps. It's meant for non-handicapped people that are stupid. If you don't understand this, you are in fact a retard. Yeah, retard, moron, idiot, I believe imbecile. All four of those used to be medical classifications of intelligence, of capability someone had. Now, since those were kind of discarded because they weren't really all that accurate, we've had terms like mentally handicapped, developmentally delayed, and now, of course, we have autism, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, Down syndrome. All of these sorts of people would have been called simply retards or defectives, mentally handicapped, what have you, years ago. Now we actually classify them based on the disorder, the specific disorder that they're suffering from. So the term retard has no true medical meaning anymore. It is simply an insult for stupid people. I would never dream of looking at one of my autistic nephews and saying, oh, you're retarded. I'd never dream of doing that. Because they're not. Because it's not an accurate medical terminology anymore. I'll look at one of my buddies who does something stupid and go, you're fucking retarded every single minute of every single day. Yeah. Let's see. Happiness Hill, School for Retarded Children. See, we actually used to use the term retarded. Word retard, that's the same meme again. You're retarded. Yeah. They're bent. I do love the seagull meme. This is probably my favorite one. Retard. Speaking of retard, let's come back to Canada. Talk about Alberta separation briefly. I will play the one English clip I have, or the one UK. Well, no, it's English because it's got to do with Sadiq Khan. I will play that clip at the end, but I'm going to cut the recording and leave it there because there's some nudity and some very graphic sexual behavior, and I don't really want to put that out on Rumble. I don't have a problem showing it live, but I'm not going to leave it up on a video, especially when that video is going to be posted to YouTube. And I already have enough trouble with things getting blocked in Russia. Yeah, 4 of my last 5 videos, I think, were blocked in Russia based on silly copyright claims. Let's see, from Table Salt. New, CTV speaks with Alberta separatist leader Jeffrey Rath. This guy is great. He actually is. We're going to bypass EB and Communist China. We want the U.S. credit facility in case Ottawa tries to cut off the money to Alberta. He calls him an absolute gunslinger. I do like that. But we'll listen to this here now. And that's an unfortunate place to pause him. I wonder if this clip begins there for any particular reason. But we'll go with this.
Can you understand how, on the face of it, Canadians would view, some Canadians, outside of the ones that support your cause, who are not necessarily unempathetic to the frustrations expressed by people in this province, but who would view the idea of, you know, people here meeting with a government that has, you know, spoken the way it has about this country as a whole as problematic and seeking money to make this happen?
Okay, so she's poisoning the well right away. He's talking to people who talk bad about us. Children, don't be influenced by that.
Understand that there's a lot of Ontarians and people in Quebec that suffer deeply from Trump derangement syndrome.
The elbows do seem to be in Ontario and Quebec the worst.
But we're not doing anything untoward. It's absolutely, you know, from our perspective, we're just conducting due diligence on behalf of our fellow Albertans. We're serious professionals. I mean, I've argued cases at the Supreme Court of Canada, for goodness sake. I mean,
I will say that if there's ever been a man who doesn't need shoulder pads in his suit, it's this fella.
You know, we take what we're doing very seriously, and obviously the attitude of the United States towards Alberta independence, which incidentally is overwhelmingly enthusiastic, is something that informs our movement going forward. If the United States said, oh God, we can't tolerate that, flies in the face of, you know, the communist New World Order, we'll slap a 300% tariff on Albertans if they leave because...
Excuse me. Yeah, that 300% tariff threat doesn't mean a lot to Alberta, especially if they have access to the U.S. market. The U.S. will immediately take every drop of oil and every single gram of beef that they're willing to produce.
We want you to remain resource slaves.
And it would be nice to see Alberta actually go back to producing corn and actual foods rather than fucking canola.
Of the communist government in Ottawa, you know, it would be a totally different conversation. But that's not the case. We're gratified that it's the case. And quite frankly, the Trump administration shows Albertans far more respect than is shown to Albertans by the government in Ottawa. Do you think 3 of us could get a meeting with Tim Hodgson to talk about the need for a pipeline to the Pacific Northwest so that David Eby can't continue to hold us hostage? Of course not, because they want us to be held hostage. So, you know, so I understand that there are Canadians that are upset, especially in Ontario, that when Alberta leaves, that Ontarians, for the first time in their lives, are going to have to pay their own bills and pay the...
I will point out, the Ontarians won't have to suffer quite as much as the Quebecers, because Quebec gets the vast majority of the money that's taken from the other provinces in equalization payments. Somehow, Quebec, with 2 of the largest cities in the country, is a have-not province.
bills of the Maritimes that we've been paying for years. I understand that's upsetting to people, but they need to understand that Albertans are done, we're leaving, and there's no more conversation to be had. I know that's upsetting to people.
Do you believe, though, that the motivations of the people you're meeting with or in the Trump administration are altruistic? Like,
okay, you can tell this is a reporter for government media when her question is, do you think the people you're meeting with have altruistic motives? What are you, fucking retarded, child? Is your hair behind your ear to sop up water? Because, dear God, you are fucking wet back there. Altruism. It's fucking politics. It's international. It's geopolitics. Nobody is in it for altruistic reasons. And the ones who tell you they are the ones that are least trustworthy. And his response to this is fucking perfect.
Do you think they want what's good for you and people who support your cause, or do you think that they're trying to leverage this to get the upper hand against the country of Canada as a whole?
I've studied foreign policy at the university level. I have an honors degree in political science, and I have an honors degree in law from the London School of Economics.
Dude's been around. And hey, just like Newsfist, he's got a degree in political science. Hi, buddy.
Don't you think that communist Ottawa is leveraging communist China against Alberta? I mean, come on. I mean, you know, we live in the world of realpolitik, right?
Realpolitik. It would be really nice to hear that word come out of the mouths of one of our actual government people. Doesn't fucking happen.
Mind being a pawn in that fight?
We're not a pawn. I mean, we're talking to them about our aspirations, and we have our goals and objectives. So,
and of course, trying to make them, the reporter, her response is, well, aren't you concerned about being a pawn? Everybody's a pawn one way or another. But I will point out, Jeffrey Rath here is absolutely right. Alberta's not simply a pawn.
You know, we're not a pawn. We're actually more like a rook or a queen on a chess.
I do love the fact that the man clearly plays chess, because he can name the pieces and knows how they move.
Chessboard, moving forward in the direction that we want to move freely on the board.
That's a really good analogy to put together on the spot like that. I'm impressed. I am actually really impressed with this guy. And I do follow him.
You know, the pawns are the provincial premiers like Danielle Smith that are being manipulated by Carney and Eby and communist China to do their globalist bidding, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
When you mentioned...
Okay, I'm going to cut it there. But basically, he just tore a strip right off of the Carney government. Carmenists. Yeah. Look at him ragdoll that reporter with logic. Alberta's net contribution to Ottawa, more than $244 billion from 07 to 22, dwarfs contributions from any other province. Yeah, see, the red lines here are equalization payment recipients. That's Quebec. That's Newfoundland. And ironically, Saskatchewan. Ontario gives, BC gives, and Alberta gives way more than anybody else. So, yeah. Crazy. I once asked my late father when he left California in 1970 to move back to Canada. His response, Americans are goddamn cowboys. Now I know what he meant. Rape is kind of like the weather. If it's inevitable, relax and enjoy it. Oof. Jesus, dude. Let's see. Why does every Alberta representative have to emulate Sheriff Buford T. Justice? Why are you constantly trying to mock Buford T. Justice? He was a good man just trying to do his job. Yeah, CTV mad. CTV big mad. Let's see. Who else caught the interview? Yeah. Also, you misspelled Rath. Interesting that you call yourself Alberta Politics and misspell his name. Did I just miss something? I miss a chat. Oh, I thought I had that turned off. I do apologize. No, okay. Didn't miss a chat. How nice to listen to a human being with intelligence and actual knowledge of how the world really works and what's actually happening in this country. Yeah, and Jeffrey Rath, if you aren't following him, is over here. You can find him, Jeffrey R.W. Rath. He lists his location as Foothills, Alberta. Yeah, I mean, definitely worth a follow. Let's see. Yeah, let's get this out of the way. Oops. I think I got that right. Yeah, okay. This isn't, by the way, this isn't the sexual activity, nudity one I was talking about. So this is a reply to someone who, here we are. So here's the reply. The Sikh community of BC, Salish territory. We're tired of the turbans. Anti-Sikh hate is in full swing. What will Pierre Poilievre do to speak up against white supremacism? claiming that the Dominion Society are racist and white supremacist. They're not. They're preserving. They're trying to conserve the country. And I pointed out, well, first off, it's not white supremacy to see a group of people fouling your environment and want them gone. It has nothing to do with race in that case, but behavior. Also, did you think we forgot about this? Yeah, we fucking didn't. Let's see, those two are from the UK. Okay, one more from Communist China, or another one from Communist China. Yeah. Breaking. Canadian Health Minister Michelle has sealed reports on vaccine safety for 15 years. The reports contain several million pages of information. So safe and effective, you can't even know about it. That's from Table Salt, I believe. Yes. So the files have been closed for 15 years. Health Minister Marjorie Michel's department has sealed internal reports on vaccine and drug injuries for 15 years, records show. The documents run to, quote, several million pages. Yeah. I was never big, this is Table Salt, I was never big on the vaccine conspiracy stuff, but things like this are making me start to wonder. Seems sketchy as fuck. You think? I mean, come on, man. Sorry. Excuse me. Not to sound like Joe Biden, but for fuck's sakes, didn't you study anything to do with virology at all in school? I mean, even me, that was educated, my high school education ended in 1994, and then I did a bit of university in that same year, and picked up enough knowledge that I'm aware that when you're developing a vaccine, it takes a lot more than just a few weeks to do a clinical trial. So this is from Wiretap Media. Report. The CBSA told the president of AMTA, Robert Harper, to take a hike after discovering temporary foreign workers were hired by Driver Inc. companies after being terminated from legitimate trucking outfits for unsafe practices and inexperience. Quote, they had a Facebook group chat where they were bragging. We sent it to CBSA and they told us not to contact them again.
There are audits that Canadian Border Services and ESDC should take. We had instances where people on temporary foreign worker permits were terminated by an employer who came in on their permit. A week later, they're working at a Driver Inc. company and bragging about it through Facebook chat when they should have been absolutely not working in the company. How they were, I sent some documentation to CBSA and was said, please don't send us this information. There are
don't send us this information because we don't want to have to act on it. Because temporary foreign workers who are disqualified from doing the job they were brought over for should be immediately deported. They become criminals when they refuse to leave. You had a work visa for this job, for this company. You've been fired because you're unsafe or unqualified. Fuck off home. And Canadian Border Services, who are supposed to be responsible for shit like that, just say, nah, we don't care. If you tell us about it, we have to act on it. Please don't tell us about it. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. We'll start with this one. We'll continue, rather, with this one. This is from... Is this also from Wiretap Media? No, this is from Drea Humphrey. Vancouverites marching against Mark Carney's New World Order. They want him and the Liberals out. And this is from Rebel Field Reports. So, it's Rebel News, so take that with a smaller grain of salt than you would anything else from the Canadian government. Or, sorry, anything from the Canadian government. Rebel News, as far as I know, still doesn't take money from the Canadian government. But I'm not 100% convinced they're not foreign influenced in one shape or another. Also, I will say, isn't it nice to see police officers actually escorting an anti-government group? For once, in this country. It's kind of the reverse in the U.S., where, anti-government groups attack police. Also, I'll point out, look at how many homemade signs these people are holding. New World Order heading to communism. Well, what do you think the New World Order is meant to be? I will point out, for fuck's sakes, people, you're allowed to say excuse me, even to a camera. Surprising how many of them are Asian, too. Though then again, it is Vancouver. Or, as some people refer to it, Hongcouver. Yep. It's good to see, even if it is... And it's fairly quiet, fairly restrained, but they're not at their destination yet. They're marching to draw people in, to get attention, and then when they get where they're going, they'll deliver their message. Like a peaceful protest. Go friggin' figure. Yep. And somebody did say it was nice to meet Drea that day. Okay. So, since we're on the topic of Kearney, we'll pop to this one. From Michael Cooper MP, bombshell, tax avoidance expert says Kearney's Brookfield is Canada's largest tax dodger. Fucking shocker. He confirmed Brookfield evaded over $6.5 billion in Canadian taxes in just 5 years. Kearney's company pocketed billions at Canadians' expense. Yeah. So during the time he was Trudeau's financial advisor and the time potentially that he was prime minister, yeah.
On page 12 of your report, there is reference to Brookfield's tax gap over the last 5 years between 2017 and 2021. Just so that I'm clear on what a tax gap means, it is measuring the difference between taxes actually paid and taxes that would have been paid if the statutory Canadian tax rate had been applied to profits reaped. Do I have that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And according to your analysis, or the analysis cited in your report, Brookfield's tax gap in just 5 years between 2017 to 2021.
So, just to recap in case you guys couldn't hear that or didn't quite catch it, what he's talking about is what's called a tax gap. That's the difference between taxes paid and taxes actually owed to the Canadian government.
Was over $6.5 billion. Is that right?
So Brookfield, Mark Kearney's company, is in the red to the Canadian government to the tune of about $6.5 billion. That's enough money that he could send more stuff to Ukraine. I wish I was joking.
Right?
That's correct, and that was based on research done by the Canadians for Tax Fairness and by some analysis from the Toronto Star as well.
So it would be fair to say that the extent...
Is he wearing a Dominion Society pin? No, maybe not. Very similar, though.
Brookfield's tax avoidance, taxes that it should have otherwise paid in Canada in just 5 years, was over $6.5 billion.
Yes, I mean, there are the...
Okay, so, yeah, from De Civitas, Real Andy Lee's show has been sounding the alarm on this for years. Is there any MP or high-ranking official left who is not absolutely devastatingly incompetent and malfeasant? They might be malfeasant, they're not incompetent. They're evil. Speaking of evil, though I think it's a minor evil, we'll go back to the UK to finish off here. From End Wokeness, breaking, the UK government launches a new drive to turn the countryside less white. One problem for Muslims is dogs. Well, if they don't like dogs, they can go back to a country that doesn't have them. And yes, I know a lot of my viewers are cat people. You're wrong, and you should like dogs, but I don't hate you for that. Despise might be too strong a word, even. Anyway, this is about Muslims enjoying national parks and things of that nature.
We've got a problem. It's a lot about.
You notice that the host started to try to interrupt her, and she just got louder.
The national parks
Yeah.
and getting people out there and making national parks for everybody. And
But national parks aren't for everybody. They're for people who are from your nation. That's how nation works. Yeah.
One of the problems is dogs. And
Oh no, not dogs. In a park. In the wilderness. No.
And actually, this isn't just about the fact that a lot of Muslims find dogs very difficult.
Very difficult. Dogs are awesome. Dogs are fucking awesome. As long as they're at least this big. This high. Dachshund. Don't do Yorkies. Don't do toy poodles. Don't do toy anything. Don't do pugs. These are not dogs. These are either A, cats in dog suits, or mutants that really don't deserve to exist. Yeah, I really don't like pugs. Overbred creatures.
It is about people who do not know how to control their dogs.
Wait a second. It's a national park. You're out in the fucking woods. Not being able to control your dog is a personal problem. If you let your dog off leash and you can't control it, you're the bad person. I will say that. That said,
why do Muslims find dogs difficult?
Because a lot of they don't have dogs as pets.
why don't they have dogs as pets? And that question will not be answered by that panel. They don't have dogs as pets because they consider dogs haram, which is actually not a universal Muslim thing, turns out. Sadie's, fuck these people. Such language from a lady. Yes, they had to be a decent size, agreed. Yeah, you know, I like a big dog. I grew up with Newfoundlands and Bloodhounds and hunting dogs like Harriers and Beagle. Well, Beagle is actually smaller than what we have. What we call a Beagle is actually a Harrier. It's kind of a step-down foxhound. But I mean, I grew up with actual dogs, labs, Goldens, you name it. And yeah, I mean, the best dog I ever had was an absolute Heinz 57 of a mutt. There was husky and 3 or 4 different kinds of terrier in the thing. Intelligent as hell. And I don't mind small-ish dogs, but like I said, I mean, the pug is overbred. Dachshunds are fucking cool little bastards, though. But they were bred for purpose, beyond simply being a companion animal, like a pug or a Shih Tzu or what have you. But yeah, the issue that some Muslims have with dogs is that they view them as haram. I was actually shocked when I discovered that isn't a universal view amongst Muslims. The Saluki, the dog breed that's a sight hunter over in Afghanistan, yeah, that's actually a Muslim creation. Funny thing, that, for people who hate dogs. Yeah. Let's see. Conservative alternative? Yes. Says they are basically carrying out a slow-motion genocide. I think they learned from the Nazis that you can't do these things too quickly because otherwise people will notice, but the mask is off now. Absolutely. We are a dog-loving nation, says Dee Dee. Absolutely. I'm also following Dee Dee. Probably because of this comment. They don't like dogs, they leave because our dogs are not. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Trevor Trust. Oh, the one problem for me is Muslims. I don't blame you. They're going to genocide dogs, eventually the owners too. Yeah, it'll be the owners first. That'll be the priority. Sun Tzu once said, never underestimate the stupidity of white liberal women. Yeah. Please be courteous to your Muslim neighbors. Many Muslims live in this area, and dogs are considered filthy in Islam. Please keep your dogs on a leash and away from the Muslims who live in this community. Me. Yeah, I'd be walking a pack of hounds, man. Yeah. And the bigger the better. Like I grew up with, like I said, I grew up with Newfoundlands. I would dearly love to see a Muslim try kicking at my dog if I was walking in Newfoundland. I would simply go, you're on your own, pal. I didn't name him Psycho for nothing. Also, if you haven't heard the Buddy What's His Name skit, Psycho, it's worth it. Supporting the replacement of the native people of a nation is racist. Yeah. Yep. What the hell am I looking at? Oh, it's pigs. Okay. Never trust anybody that doesn't like dogs. Yeah, absolutely right there with you, based electrician. The dog problem is easy to solve. England then, England now. Ah, jeez. What do we got here? What the hell's going on here? Don't be racist. Oh, yeah, that's my daughter. Yeah. There's enough of that stuff going around to make everybody furious, too. We're starting to see that problem in Canada. Okay, so this one is actually from my friend Newsfist. Or delivered through my friend Newsfist. From Nick Dixon. So Newsfist says, deprived of being able to call the caller a racist since he is black, the presenter pivots to claiming he is doing the work of the, quote, far right. Fascinating edge case. This one is actually kind of fascinating. Let's see what Nick Dixon said. LBC meets its final boss, a black guy who says every black person should be sent back to Africa. I tittered my ass the entire way through this.
A full black repatriation. Every single black man, woman, and child in the earth goes back to Africa to bring about world peace. Because at the moment...
Now, I'm going to point out something. Or 2 points, actually. He didn't say just the ones in England. He said every single one of them around the world goes back to Africa. So that includes the American blacks. That includes the few that we have in Canada who aren't actual immigrants. You know, it's not a bad idea. Take the skills, take the things you've learned, go back to your your homelands, ancestral homelands in some cases, and improve them. Build Africa up. Why not? Fuck Whitey, go home. But of course, this creates an interesting cognitive dissonance in this fella.
We black people in the West are treated as 400 years ago slave.
Now, I will point out Moses, the caller, did claim that black people are still being treated as slaves. The ones who've been in the West for a while, not so much. The ones who are being recruited or allowed to come to the West for cheap labor, I kind of lean that way. Yeah, I'm not completely disagreeing with you, Moses.
So hang on, Moses, you want every black person in the UK to go to Africa?
Yes, because we are descended from Africa. We've never been afforded the right to go back there.
That's categorically untrue. Liberia.
But does every black person want to go and live in Africa?
Well, they may not necessarily want to go and live in Africa, but as a representative of the black community...
I love that he did that meme.
I would like to say that I will give them what they need, not necessarily what they want.
But Moses, there'll be a lot of black people who consider themselves as British as anyone else, who are British, who contribute a huge amount, who have lived here for...
Notice he had to correct himself after he said who consider themselves to who are.
Many years, potentially many decades. Why should they have to leave their country?
It's not their country.
That's pretty fucking blunt, Moses.
It's the country of the world.
Oh, come on, Moses. You're doing the far right's work for...
Couldn't call him a racist. Took him a second to figure out what he could call him. And then he relaxed into his chair and he went, oh no, you're doing the far right's job. Fuck right off, you pansy.
For them. Of course it's their country.
Far right.
You are. If you are saying that if you're a black Brit, this isn't your country, you are doing the work of the far right.
So does he have internalized prejudice now, too? Is he a self-hating black man? Is he the black face of white supremacy? These people, they're so fucking clownish. Did I say anything bad? I did, yeah. Appropriately derisive laughter. Good on you, Moses. Yeah. He's furiously shuffling through his use in case of losing argument notes. Newsfist asked Grok to create an image of a fire alarm panel covered in glass, labeled, in case of emergency, blame the far right. I guess Grok just wouldn't. Big shocker. Yeah. Okay, I am going to cut the recording here, so I do have one more news clip to show. It's, I will warn anyone who has children, or a delicate constitution, or is preparing food, maybe don't watch this one. Listen by all means if you want. But I'll cut the recording here, and I will say to everybody, please do like, share, follow, comment, all those good things. If you'd like to support me financially, you can do so by going to Ko-Fi. working on the merch thing. Fourth wall is... I think there's some sort of issue going on between when I had my account and trying to sort of not really create a new one. So there's some technical problem there. Hopefully that'll be sorted out fairly quick. Copy that link. So, for everyone who's hung around this long, thank you very much for your time. I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.